The views and opinions expressed by the hosts and guests of Colorful Voices of Sisterhood are their own and do not represent L'Amour Media Versatility, that of any broadcast networks utilized, its advertisers, or sponsors. All content is subject to copyright and may not be reproduced in any form without prior written consent by L'Amour Media Versatility. The views and opinions expressed by the hosts and guests of Colorful Voices of Sisterhood are for general public information and entertainment purposes only.
Hello, this is Raquel Painter from Colorful Voices of Sisterhood, and welcome. I am Raquel, like I mentioned earlier. I am a retired Marine Corps Sergeant Major that served 26 and a half years in the Marine Corps. I am also from the Isante Sioux tribe and the Winnebago tribe of Nebraska, currently residing in Jacksonville, North Carolina. I also serve as president of the United Way here for our local community, as well as I'm involved in various community events. Miss Diana?
I am Diana King Barnes, a native of Onslow County. I am a community active. I work for Marine Federal Credit Union, and we serve on a DEI committee, and I look forward to being part of this.
Miss Agnes?
Hi, everyone. Again, my name is Agnes Higley-Herman. I'm a business owner. I'm currently serving as the president of the Filipino-American Chamber of Commerce of North Carolina. I'm also got appointed as vice president of NAFA Region 4. NAFA is National Federation of Filipino-American Associations. And right now, I also have a 501c3, the AMH Foundation, which we serve impoverished children in the areas of the Philippines and some other countries. That is my advocacy and passion. Thank you.
Miss Fetihya?
I would like to share the story of little girl. That's okay?
Yes, please.
This young girl, she inspired me, and she's from East Africa. She was... God, I don't know how even to describe. She's inspired me as the woman I am today. She humble beginning in her life, and she came from beautiful family. And she was 5 years old when she was molested by extended family. Her family did not know, she didn't know. She was captured for 1 week in that house, the guy that betray her and her family. The culture she grew is the culture is telling you that woman don't have voice. Woman, if she's not virgin, she's not needed in the community because of the things she saw in the community, in the family. She's did not share her pain. So she was repeatedly and abused. Then age 11, she ran away. Actually, she started running away when she was 10, and her mom, she didn't understood why she was running because she thought like she didn't have voice and she did not want to cause any trouble for the family because that person was extended family. Then she grew up seeing community that woman, when she reached age of 14, 16, they kidnap woman. They rape woman. If she does not report, that woman is like, she's not worth the community. And if she report, they force that man to marry that young girl. So for some of women that do not report, they suicide, which is they hang themselves or they burn themselves. So this young girl, she say, at that age, at 9 and 10, if I stay here, they would find out that I'm not virgin. My family didn't know. So her choice is to escape, to run away.
Mm-hmm.
She take train, and her mom went to get her from training, and she was keep running and running. Finally, she escaped to go to a country called Djibouti, is East Africa. The person took her to Djibouti who was the same age of that young girl. Her sister, she was trafficker. She was trafficking her sister also. So when she got to Djibouti, they let her stay. And because the sister, she was trafficker, and they add this girl to be part of trafficking. You know what I learned in that day when that girl trafficked the man that was supposed to touch her? He didn't touch her. She was petite. It was older guy. And he say, I'm not gonna touch you. I'm gonna give you the money, and you're gonna give it to the trafficker. That moment, that girl should say, not everybody's bad. And that age, she knew we all have heart, but not all of us use our heart in the right way. And then the second time she was being trafficked, she escaped. That young girl, she been running from that age. Now she's grown woman. She's advocating for children that went through. She's speaking of the people that don't have voice. She's trying to take that awareness to back her home. That woman today, she's the mother of 3, proud to be mother of 3. She came to this country. That woman, that girl, it was me. My name is Fetihya Hall. I am the founder and president of nonprofit organization called Rise Above Abuse and Now. And I'm so proud to be mother of 3. Thank you guys for having me here. Yes.
That is probably a reality for a lot of people out there in the community. We know this month is Human Trafficking Awareness Month. So thank you for sharing your story, Fetihya. I mean, what a powerful story. I mean, you lived it. And now you're advocating for those victims out there. Being a nonprofit president here for United Way, one of our partner agencies that we support helps victims or survivors. I'd rather say a survivor of human trafficking. And I know Diana sits on the board of directors for that organization, and they are doing great work for the community.
That organization is True Justice International, because we realize that human trafficking here, even in Onslow County and surrounding areas, is happening. Human trafficking goes back to slavery. Mm-hmm. It is modern day slavery. And we never know next door what's happening. So we take nothing for granted.
And thank you, Fetihya, for sharing your story with us, your experiences, because there's a lot of people who are reluctant to share their stories. And you just did it with grace and beauty and with conviction.
Yes. And thank you for starting a nonprofit to help survivors of sexual assault, human trafficking. I mean, when you look at now the numbers for human trafficking, it is right behind drug trafficking in the United States. It's a $150 billion industry here in the United States, and I can imagine worldwide. I know Tracy Klein, which is the executive director of True Justice International, she says, you know, a bag of drugs they could sell once, but a person they could sell over and over again. So really what we want to do is we want to bring a voice to those voiceless. We want to bring a voice for those children that are trafficked. We want to bring a voice to the women who are trafficked and men trafficked. We cannot forget the men either. Yes. It's a huge industry. You know, when we're at the point, what do we do? Mm-hmm. It's
Fetihya, can I ask you, what's the difference in human trafficking and also child trafficking?
Is they have category. When we say human trafficking, we kind of we generally overall, but they are sex trafficking, they labor. And I experience both. So when you say sex trafficking, it comes with multiple risk, addiction, because they inject you with a drug for you to be numb, to be used over and over again. Like you mentioned earlier, drugs, you only sell one, but sex trafficking is multiple times.
And we're talking multiple times in the day.
A day
Yes.
with different men. Imagine what this man is carrying to transfer to the young girl. And I truly like what you say, and Raquel was like, what can we do? It's speak, make it normal, talk about it. So when our children, our generation to come, we show them and we make it normal for us to talk about this, so they aware of, so they would not afraid to speak. That's the most important part, is to talk, make it natural, say this is happening, this exists, not silence. Silence is killing us. It almost killed me. Thank God, and thank God for so many survivors that overcame. So how many out there right now in that situation? What can we do? Is by advocating, by not afraid, by not shame. We do a lot of shameful stuff, right? Those are stuff that's something that we do. We didn't ask to be trafficked.
That's why we have these colorful voices of sisterhood to strengthen and empower each other. But my question to you, Fetihya, is when did you realize that you finally want to tell your story?
That's Agnes, is a really good question. Thank you for asking. And I remember when I left home and age 9, 10, I was struggling. Like, this is not normal. I knew it was not normal. And another thing I knew was if I stay here, I was getting the age of an arrangement wedding. That is our culture. And when you get married, if they find you're not virgin, then you are now ashamed, not only family, all the community. And because of those reasons, they were women suicide. When I say suicide, it's not like here you take pill, like they were burning themselves, they were hanging themselves. And I say, I'm not gonna take my life. I have to escape, I have to run. And my mom, I know people say, where is your parents when this has happened to you? Parents, they're not aware of, because the people do that to you is the people that you trust the most.
Yes.
So it's not because your family, they don't want to be there for you, because they trust the community, they trust the people that they in the family, extended family, those are the people that hurt you. For me, it was very close extended family, someone married to my very close person, close to my heart. And I just felt if I say something, I will affect everybody, the marriage, everyone. So to answer your question, Agnes, it was 2020. That's when I say, okay, I was wrestling spiritually. Okay, I remember saying, one day I will make a difference. One day I will advocate this. And I keep replaying in my mind. So I was wrestling my own spirit. This is my purpose. Now I can say, voluntarily, I can say, let's sit down and talk about this. Really, like voluntarily, I can share. And before I get there were people around me, elder people, that just say things like that. And I'm like, why I'm hearing? They were sexually molested, abused. So I said, well, they went before me, like the 60s, 70s. They have never shared. You are first time share with you. And then I start questioning myself. They were 70, so I want to die empty. I want to help. So that's the reason 2020, I say I have to do something.
And I think that's the first start of it is talking about it, bringing it out. When you talk about the cultural is really to be ashamed and live in silence about that. And in order to get something out and for people to know about, we got to talk about it.
Yes,
So thank
yes.
you again, Fetihya, for stepping out and sharing your story and continue
welcome.
to share your story.
Yes.
Because to me, that's going to inspire a little Fetihya to
Yes.
step up and say something, whether it's to a teacher, whether it's to, a trusted individual.
Yes.
Allow them to stand up and say no more. So thank you, Fetihya. It takes a lot of courage to do what you do.
Yes. Fetihya, is there any warning signs that we can look for that can help us? Any warning signs?
What so far I learned with especially sexual just abuse is it make you silence. You act upon on so many things they do, and also close family, very close to me, that experienced this. They just started telling me actually 1 year ago, and they run. Like I said, you run. You vote more like to yourself, and for me, I act upon on that trauma, and it caused me really like big time. And now I can say I didn't know, but now I know I can do something about it. And most of the time is like they very quiet, they with themselves, or they just want to run away. They don't want to run in people.
Yes.
And I'm sure it causes a lot of strain on relationships.
Big time.
Because it's hard to trust, hard to get intimate with somebody, even though you love them. I mean, there's a lot of residual effects to a traumatic event, especially if it's not addressed.
Yes.
And now we know there's a lot of resources out there. We mentioned one, True Justice International. But I think it's important for communities to really know what resources are available out there for you, because you never know. There might be someone that needs help. And a lot of times when they need the help, you got to be able to help them then, because you got a small window to provide them the resource and get them out of that situation.
Yeah. Don't be alone. Don't be scared. There's a lot of help out there. And one is, here we go, 4 of us here. You can always call us. But Fetihya, one question I have for you as well is, I was reading your Facebook page.
My organization.
Yes, your organization, Rise Above. And one question that I have for you is about the mistreatment that you mentioned. Is that because you have built up a wall and you have a hard time confiding in and trusting them?
So when I say men, it became, and that my addiction is when you're addicted to drugs, you go get it more. What I meant by that is, for me, because I was not aware of what is really happening within me. I know what happened to me, but like in here, US, and they have therapies. They talk about trauma. They talk about what it can do to you when you get abused. Back home, we don't know. We don't know. Like, you're here today. If you're there, you should say thank you for being here. Like, you just is adding up, and subconscious. So for me, is men became, when I say addiction, is not a sexual way, is mistreatment. It became the mistreatment. It became normal for me. I was numb to abuse. I was numb to just that area. So I keep repeating this pattern, the men that I'm picking. And what I realize is, the more I do resource and read more about abuse, sexual abuse, is men know the woman that been through. They know vulnerable woman. So the woman likes those control men. So it's kind of like they sense each other. So that is what happened to me. That's what I meant by that. Thank you. Actually, that's good too, because people, if they read, were like, what she mean by men became my addiction is not as sexual, but just the abuse of men became my addiction. And I was accepting because that was normal. I get used to that, and I was numb.
Yeah. And you mentioned a good point, Fetihya, as they look for those vulnerable populations.
Yes.
So I know a lot, especially in when you talk about third world countries.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of parents don't know they're giving their children to a sex trafficker or forced labor. They think a lot of their children are going to work this great job in another country, and they get to send money home, not knowing what's at the other end when their child arrives. So I definitely read a lot of stories like that.
Yeah, I'm glad you say that too. When you say third world country, we are vulnerable to when you are desperate to survive, you will do anything. So where I came from is, and 2 years old baby's already out there getting what he need to eat. Selling. I was one of them. I was really out there and selling stuff like cookies, potatoes, boiled eggs, and I did all that. So yes, they actually pay someone to take their children to like Dubai and Kuwait, Bahrain, and a lot of Ethiopian actually women being abused, and and even if they're not trafficking them sexually, they were people that take your passport, you pay them. They take you to family. They keep you like
a hostage.
Yeah, hostage. So, and I experienced too. I was in Djibouti. That's is a long story to make it short. I went back because Djibouti was escape for a lot of Ethiopian people because they have better economy, they're better job, and so a lot of Ethiopian people go and Yemenis go to Djibouti to find job. And when I went to Djibouti the second time, the lady that I was working, I was 13, and she was our neighbor, but she married to military. She told me I can stay with her. She will pay me. She will save that money, send it to my mom. This woman, like she was my neighbor, grown up. She know me. I worked for her like 5 months, and she didn't pay. She didn't send money to my mom. So it happened a lot. And for third world country, because they are vulnerable, and when you are desperate to survive, and a lot of things can happen to you, and which is really sad as human being, how we treat one another like that.
Exactly.
That's what really hurts.
And that's what it's hard as a mother to comprehend something like that happening. And that just goes to show how different cultures are.
Right.
I truly believe now in the United States, we're doing a better job at bringing awareness and attention to these type of stuff. But there's still populations that are vulnerable right here in the United States. There was actually what's the movie Taken? Where, she was from a prominent family, just went over there to follow a concert tour and got wrapped up in a sex trafficking ring. I mean, so to me, it could happen to anybody.
At any place, because, they says, at the football games, a lot of times, especially that's getting ready to happen, the Super Bowl, is as a prime way for human trafficking. But it can happen at the mall. It can happen when girlfriends, young, think the boyfriends, and take care of them. It happens at any age. It's stuff that we really have to be careful, because even here I see where parents may drop their kids off. They don't know who they're with.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Then you're talking, you bring social media into a mix, especially for a young child. 14 is young for me. When you bring the social media into it, and then you have, once again, somebody preying on them where they're so innocent they don't understand. So that's something else that parents nowadays really have to deal with, that is making sure their children are only talking to who they need to be talking to on social media.
I was reading an article, and this individual, he thought that he would be given a job. Okay. But actually, the thing is, he cannot say no because they have to give him a paperwork to sign. He cannot say no. He has to answer the questions, what they have in the paper, or yes. without him knowing. It's right here. A network that was trafficking people into neighboring India for the illegal sale of their, guess what? Kidneys.
Oh, the organs.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. And there's a lot of trafficking. And really, it's what's going to bring these traffickers dollars. You know, that's what it comes down to. I mean, they see people as property,
Yes.
not as human beings. Like Fetihya mentioned earlier, that, you know, where's that human to human contact? That trust, that love of all mankind, and that definitely missing when you're dealing with those human traffickers. So I think as a community, as a country, as a world, we really need to come together to combat this, because it is affecting everybody at all levels, no matter their profession, their economic status, their age. I mean, it takes a toll, and then there's lasting residual trauma effects from this. And to know what's going on here in our backyard too.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I want to read something I think you wrote, Raquel, and that was in our Rotary. Trafficking victims usually experience physical or psychological abuse. They might also endure sexual abuse, food, sleep deprivation, threats to the family members, and isolation from the outside world. Fetihya, when you was going through, did you feel that your family could be threatened by telling, if anybody knew anything?
So, you mean when I was child, when I started speaking about it?
No.
Oh, now, yeah. Actually, I lost a lot of family or friends who was close to me. To 2020, that is when I say, that is it. I cannot take it. Like, I can't. I don't know how long I'm gonna be here. I just felt something that really like power and strongly. This is your calling, and I want to be free. I never been free like I am free right now.
Wow.
I swear, I never in my life be free like I am free right now, because of release me, because I was holding. Sometimes you're not really sick physically, but because we caring a lot, we want to do difference. But what first thing we think about? What people will say, how many people I would lose, and the judgmental come with that. I say, okay, just I talk to my creator. What do you want me to do? He said, if you want to free yourself, it's in you. The freedom is in you.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, yes, I have lost aunt, uncles, cousins, friends, and they don't talk to me. I remember when my aunt, she said that you do not even belong to us. You are not even our DNA. I just told her I love you. And it's still a lot of, except my mommy, my sister. What it can do to you, if you were abused or trafficked very young age, you grow, all right, subconscious. Then you become mother. Sometimes you don't know what it's caused you. How many, I'm not regretting things that I didn't know, but I'm glad now I know to make a difference and kind of talk to my children, teach my children, and serve others, the humanity, and children that are back home, they don't have what we have access in here. They still carry that. It hurts for me not making any difference, because my experience that all those years, we want for other generation to come to pick that habit and that abuse and go on. So what kind of, something we, like you said, Raquel, something we should ask ourselves is, what kind of generation we want to have? What we want to leave behind us? That's very important. We are the producer. They are our product. What do we want to produce? So when we make that choice to advocate, to be servant to humanity, then we will have better generation. So,
yeah. And I think that's something we as leaders in communities is we can be that difference maker for a lot of people.
oh yes,
We could educate, in the circles that we're in. we could provide that trusting hand that people need.
Yes.
And then when you think about, I'm just thinking of a child, who's going through a traumatic event and, being afraid to say something, especially if someone threatens their mother, their father, their brother, and just human nature, we want to protect those we love. So a lot of them will endure going through that torment just to protect their loved ones.
Yes.
So I think we as leaders, we could definitely provide that education resource to everybody, but it's got to be everybody involved. It's hard if just one person does it. It's hard if just 4 people do it. But if we as a community, everybody does something about it, I think it can make that shift or change. Because it makes me wonder on who's purchasing it.
Right.
Who's on that other side?
I was just gonna say that. Who is behind of this?
Yeah. Definitely. If there's no one purchasing that, or paying for sex with children, it
There
wouldn't
must
be a
be.
demand.
Yeah, there must be a huge demand of this.
Is everybody developing this? People it's like we are looking the big who's the boss or who's the really doing this. It does not have to be somebody's behind. It's people desperate to have something. They will do anything to destroy others for them to have what they have. And it's woman. It really breaks my heart when women do too, because you're supposed to be naturally mother and nature, right? But that's most time women do that too. And where I was actually the one that behind was woman. She was one of the she used to be trafficked, so she became so it was a graduate. You're like it's like you graduate. So then now she's training for the rest. Now she's not doing that, but she's using that.
She's bringing the young ones in.
Yes. So it's kind of like this is a cycle that go on and on. Then in the middle, those traffickers, they were not like that. They pick from somewhere, then sink to the subconscious. They become one of them to do that. And as community, we have to speak about it. It's not just to talk about it. We have to act on that. We have to educate. I don't talk about what happened to me to people to feel sorry for me. I'm talking about to educate, to help. I passed that. I survived that.
Your words have power,
Yes.
sister. That's why you are here. But seriously, 150 billion globally, who are benefiting all this? I mean, in the United States alone, if I'm not mistaken, it's 32 billion industry. And,
Yeah. It's right behind drug trafficking in the United States as the second highest paying criminal industry. And I definitely want to add criminal into that because it's a crime. When I think of right now, I'm looking at the statistics here from the Office of the Attorney General from District of Columbia. Children account for half of the victims of human trafficking. So we're talking children are half of the victims on that. Where the average age that a young person becomes involved in the sex trafficking is 12 years old. That's the average age.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't know, for some reason, why girl, they review her as meat or something that she can bring value. I know it happened to boys, but the majority is little girl.
Yeah. And, Fetihya, it makes me think back on a lot of the cultural differences. A lot of countries view women still as second-class citizens. So thankfully, we're making our strides and headway in the United States and other countries, but we still got countries that really believe that women are property for the husband. So I think that may have a lot to do with it too, on their viewing of women, not, their property.
Yeah. Again, this, I think, the cycle repeat. The cycle is still going. So when are we gonna stop that cycle? When we're gonna break that cycle? Because it's very important for us to focus, to come together as community, as country. Like what is affecting US is affecting another country. You know, that's why as military, you guys go to help because it's affecting all of us because we are connected as human beings.
Yeah.
My home woman, men actually, they don't go to the kitchen. It's big no. It's little girl always in the kitchen and do something. It's just a lot of culture in Africa practice that. West Africa, East Africa. So what can we do? Again, it takes, like you say, it takes more than one or two people to do that because voice has been given to us to use it, not to silence. Silence is killing. It just is time for us to make it normal.
Yes.
That's what we're
And now we got platforms
Yes.
that we could get it out, especially when we're talking about the young people. You know, they're on that social media. They've got their cell phones and they got computers. So we're able to push that information out there to them.
Yes.
And I think it's important for especially parents, aunts, uncles, grandparents to really talk to the children about this because it could happen to anybody.
Yes.
Yeah, there's so much freedom. There's so much freedom. Increase in online child pornography, including live streaming of sexual abused children. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
Yes.
What's that? SVU, Law and Order SVU. I mean, a lot of their scenarios that they show, you know, I use those as teaching points for my children because it's real. I mean, that's something that can really happen to a person. So it's a good teaching point to make sure the children are always aware, always know your surroundings.
Yes.
Be careful who you trust. There's just so much we can do as parents to help our children.
You just mentioned about the word trust, Raquel. When my kids were little, and I'm sure, I don't know if I'm just overprotective, but I'm sure a lot of mothers out there can relate what I'm about to say. So when my kids were younger, you know, sleep over, Mom, can I go to so-and-so? And, you know, I would like to go there and sleep over. And I would ask her, does she have a teenage brother? Or, you know, and I would say, no, can you just ask her to come to our house for sleepover? But, you know, she just was here last week. But, you know, because we don't know. We don't know.
Yeah.
Agnes, I agree with you there. My kids, I would say they're welcome to come here, but you're not allowed to go there because I know what goes on in my household, but I don't know what was going on in someone else's household.
That's
so
right.
my kids never really did any sleepover. Now my house became the Kool-Aid house, but it was okay because I knew what was going on in my household.
And they love coming after that because I have to cook food. It's Filipino.
Yeah.
Yeah. Food definitely brings people together, especially kids.
Yes. And one thing I would like to point out that is good when, it's fair to say, what about when parents, they abusing their own children sexually? How about like something that we don't want to talk about? As people, we like to talk about what is countable or what is making everybody else countable.
Yeah.
We don't want to talk about what is making someone uncountable.
Yeah,
But
that
the truth
elephant in
is,
the room.
until we talk about things that it makes us uncountable, we will not have a better generation. Let's be honest.
Yes.
Because it is family that sexually abuse their children, intentionally give their children to go out, to technically they go find someone that rich. What that's supposed to mean? Like really, if we talking, what that's supposed, if you telling your daughter, go find someone that has money or go date someone, what are we telling her? We don't want to talk about that because, and it's making us look bad because we all want to look good people.
Yeah. But you mentioned that earlier, Fetihya, if we don't talk about it and make it a normal conversation, children are continue to be silenced. Young ladies, women, men, they're going to continue to be silenced because it's taboo to talk about it. So if you're not willing to talk about it or have the courage to talk about it, they're going to be scared to. Like, who are they going to go to?
Right.
Who are they going to know is on their side and will help them in their time of need? So it definitely has to be a normal conversation that people
Yes.
have.
When we start talking stuff that we don't want to talk about, that's when we're gonna get better place.
Addressing that elephant in the room. You know?
Yes.
So we're all here to actually address our cultural, to be able to bring information back to our culture and not just stopping there or coming together to find out what's the need. What can we do to help? I know I put on my nonprofit, Divine Seeds of Hope. I put on a lot of seminars and I bring a lot of information in, especially to my impoverished Black community, because I just feel like there was so much stuff that we was missing,
Yeah.
help that was missing, that was there, but we didn't know anything about it. So, even today, this right here, this is stuff that we can bring back to all generations to talk about. This is real.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is real.
Yeah.
And this happened to my sister, because that's what I feel. You are my sister.
Yeah.
So this has happened. So we need to talk. And then we need to find out, where do we go from here once we talk? How do we get help?
Yes.
Where is the help?
Yes.
So I definitely want to mention that right now we got, if you're out there and you are a survivor of trafficking, definitely you could call 911. There's a 888 number that you could also call, 1-888-373-7888, or you could text HELP to Be Free, BEFREE, which equates to 233-733. And that's what Fetihya mentioned earlier, was she feels free now. So if you are in a situation like we're discussing, by all means, call 911, text HELP. There's people there to stand by to help you.
Yes, I will also say this. I'm speaking to you. I don't know who you are. If you've been through what I've been through, you are not alone. I truly want you to be free. If you worry about, I'm losing friends and family, you are important. Your freedom is important. You're here to live fully, not half. We are here to experience the life of fullness. And I encourage you, if you have friends and someone that you can trust, at least release so you can walk this earth peacefully and knowing that things that's happened to you was not by your choice. Someone chose for you. But if you like me, we made choices upon on what happened to us, but we paid those consequences. I paid them, trust me. And it is some things I made choices. I act upon on what happened to me. But I'm telling you, sister, brother, I want you to be healthy. I want you to be free. People that you believe you're gonna lose them, if you lose them, they were not yours. Let them go. Your freedom is important. And I want us to die empty. We are here to make a difference. And I thank God for I free myself. I did not lose God. He was with me, but he was waiting for my willingness to come out of fall, to say, you know what? Nothing is holding me ever again. And I'm here for community. I'm trying to outreach back home I want those children that I left behind. I feel like I am responsible for them. And be free, sister and brother. You are not alone. Guess what? We are brave. I can thank God.
You did it, Fetihya.
Yes.
You did it.
Thank
What a
God.
great testimony.
Really,
Yeah.
thank God.
Yes.
Yes.
Agnes, you want to go into what they could expect next week?
Thank you so much for being with us today. And next week, our topic will be mental health.
The goal of the day is to bring greater awareness to the crime of sex trafficking, human trafficking. Each year, organizations around the globe provide support to communities, training to volunteers, and educational events to increase awareness. On this day, take time to learn of the resources available in your community and how you can make a difference in the fight against modern day slavery. This article was written by Raquel Painter.
Yes, and then thank you. So myself and Diana are part of a DEI committee through Rotary. So we are Rotarians, and we put service above self in that aspect. But I was asked to write an article, and I picked human trafficking just because it is so prevalent and it's something that we don't see. And when you're talking about it's going to be suppressing drug trafficking in the United States, that is significant. So we definitely wanted to make that our topic for today. Thank you guys for listening. And we will be here every week. Every week, we're going to talk about a topic that some people might not want to talk about, but it has to be said. So we definitely are bringing our voice to talk for the voiceless that is out there.
Yes.
At L'Amour Media Versatility, we aim to provide comprehensive solutions to our clients. We have a team of experienced professionals who can help you with every aspect of your media needs. From documentation and marketing to promotion and more, we provide our clients with top-notch quality services. We understand that each client is unique and has specific needs. That's why our team works closely with you to understand your company and event goals and objectives. We are committed to providing the highest quality services in media and strive to exceed our clients' expectations. Our team is passionate about helping you reach your goals and making sure you get the best experience and results. If you're looking for a reliable business to help you with all your media needs, look no further than L'Amour Media Versatility. Contact us today to get started at 252-497-3817 or at www.lamour-photos.com.